Hello everybody, Sumlad here with another tutorial. Now that we have the JDK installed, we're actually going to do some coding. So first off, go on your desktop or in any folder. Just make sure you don't have anything selected and hold shift, right click, click open command window here. So this opens command prompt, which I showed you guys from last time, but it's a awesomer way to open command prompt because it opens up in whatever folder you're in. So I can do it in one of these folders, just right click on the folder and hit open command window here, and it'll get you to that directory, which is useful. Next, in the command prompt, we're going to type in Notepad. I'm going to have us program in Notepad. I know most tutorials have you do Eclipse immediately, but I like Notepad because it requires you to type all the code yourself. And for those who don't know what Eclipse is, it's essentially like Microsoft Word for programming in Java, but it does some of the work for you, and I don't really like that because I think it makes people, like new programmers, too relied on it, and they don't know how to just code essentially by themselves, which I don't like that. So we're going to do a Notepad, hit enter, okay, and we're going to start coding. So hit or type in public class and then whatever you want to name this file. I'm going to name it tutorial because this is a YouTube tutorial. You can name it whatever you want, honestly. You could name it like yams. It really doesn't matter. The only thing I'm going to say is capitalize it because it's a common thing programmers do for readability. You don't have to. You technically don't have to, but it's for other programmers that you capitalize this. Okay. So after you type in public class tutorial, type in these brackets. Brackets are pretty important. They essentially make a block of code. Like, we put things inside of public class tutorial and we put things inside, so I don't type code like outside of here. I type it in these brackets. It's pretty important. Alright, so now this is also for readability. I basically make some white space here, and I hit space 3 times. 1, 2, 3. You don't have to do this. You could just hit like enter. It doesn't really matter. So just type one. I prefer just clicking space 3 times and then starting a method name. So this is here what I'm going to type. Public static void main parenthesis string. This has to be capitalized, by the way. You cannot lowercase string. Args and then 2 brackets, which are very important. And arg stands for arguments, for those who didn't know. So we have, this is a method. We're not getting into that yet. It takes string arguments, not getting into that yet, but yeah, you need to have it typed out exactly like this. And then we're going to put more curly brackets to indicate another block of code. And yeah, that should be it. Okay, I'm going to just start saving it. Save it on your desktop. Type in whatever you named it. Make sure you have the caps right, and then .java. Put .java at the end. That's very important, or else it'll just save it as a text file. Okay, sweet. So now we can actually start typing some code and compiling it. So let's just have it print something. So I'm going to type this system.out.println, and then in here I'm going to have a print 5. Sweet. Save it again. Now you're at your desktop already, so I just want you to type in this Java C. So that means Java compile. And then type in whatever you named it. So tutorial.java in my case. And it will compile. Sweet. So now we can run it. So I can type in Java and then tutorial. You don't put the .java at the end again. So now Java is going to read in. You'll notice on your desktop, this is what we normally type in. We created what's called a class. And now the Java virtual machine is going to basically use this class and run our program. So if I type in Java tutorial or Java whatever you had your name as and hit enter, I get 5. Look at it. It printed out for me 5. That's amazing. I mean, it's a start to programming. You technically typed out some code that runs and stuff. Good job, man. Okay, so let's be a bit more. Let's add a little more functionality with this. So I'm going to make what's called an integer. An integer is essentially a saved number. It's like a variable that saves a number. So I can type int and then num1 So first, like number 1. Yeah. And then hit equals and put in whatever value you want, because it really doesn't matter in this case. I'm going to put in 7. Then I'm going to do, again, int num2 equals whatever value you want. I'm going to go 8. Sweet. And then in here, I can go num1 plus num2. You can probably already figure out what this does. So basically, if I recompile, you have to compile again, and then run it again, I'll get 15. And I can change this to any sign I want. I can change it to multiplication. So I'm just gonna show this. I didn't compile again, so multiplication 56. Subtraction. -1. And then finally division. And I should mention this, it doesn't keep the remainder. So 7 divided by 8, it's going to be a decimal. It doesn't do decimal. It's just going to put it as a whole number, so it's going to be 0. Because it doesn't keep the remainder, and it doesn't do decimal with integers. So this is going to be 0. Or if I swapped it, so I'd have 8 divided by 7. 7 goes into 8 once. It will print out 1. Yep. So that's pretty simple. Whatever values you want to do, you can just mess around with this. I can also create a third number and have it equal to num1 plus num2 and just print that out. And it will work pretty much the same thing as the first print. Oh. Pretty simple. Last thing I want to note before I go and I let you just mess around, I'll make another tutorial pretty soon after this, and also at the end of these lines, make sure you put a semicolon. That ends a line of code. If you don't have brackets, you're going to have a semicolon. Okay? So, like these int declarations and the system.out.print, you need a semicolon at the end, or it's not going to work. If I don't do it, it's going to get confused. See? Error. Okay. I think that's going to be it for this tutorial. Thank you for watching, and have a good day, guys. Cheers.